Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us at our webinar this afternoon. It's 4 p.m. in South Africa and it's very early in the morning in America, where all our panelists are living and going to be speaking from. So it's around between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. depending on where they're living. Today's webinar is university options for GED graduates. And so you're either considering studying the GED or are busy studying the GED or have even graduated and have achieved your GED diploma. And so what's next? What do you do? And so we decided as GED South Africa and GED in Namibia to invite you to this webinar and invite 3 panelists to speak to us and present their offering from their university in the USA. They're going to be talking about the universities and all the different options that they have available and everything about the universities, about the online option, about the offline options, or the face-to-face options. And so we're really very, very excited to have everybody. Firstly, I would like to thank Jan Waldemarkel from the International Scholar for facilitating this webinar. After the webinar, we will be providing a link so that you can go to a specific website to look at all the different university options that are available and to submit your details for more information. A reminder, there is the chat facility in YouTube that you're able to type in questions or comments for the panelists. So please feel free to ask any questions that you want to. Just type them in. We'll be monitoring those questions. And then when we get to the question time, we will ask as many of those questions as possible. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Our first speaker today is Trina Allen. She's from the Community Colleges of Spokane. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. And so I would like to welcome Trina. Let's just find you.
Thank you, Sean. And yes, you did say it right, Spokane.
Spokane, great.
Spokane,
well, thank you. Thank you so much, and over to you.
All right, let's get this going. So, hello, everybody. Hello, epic humans, fabulous young people out there. It's great that you're here. As Sean said, I am coming to you from the Northwest part of the USA, Washington State. It is early morning here, but I'm energized. I always love talking to you, even though I can't see you. I know you're out there. Great work for getting online here and watching this presentation. You're doing your research. You're doing what you need to do to find your best path, especially if you're interested in studying in the USA. It's a big deal. And part of the reason why all of us are here is because the beauty of studying in the USA is because you have options. Options. This is a wonderful point, but it can also be really confusing. So hopefully today you'll get a little more clarity about the choices you have and what the US education system can offer you. So there's my little pep talk. Let's just dive right in. So I represent the Community Colleges of Spokane, and I'm here to tell you all about the good stuff about a community college, if you are not familiar, as well as my own particular college, and a little bit about our location. First of all, though, let's just get some of the interesting housekeeping details out of the way. COVID, of course, is a part of our lives now, hopefully not in any disastrous way. But I wanted you to know from the beginning that our campuses are open for business, which means that we are offering classes on ground. as well as online and what we call hybrid. So a hybrid class is a combination of a little bit of online, and then you do have to go to campus sometimes 1 or 2 times per week. So it's a combination. So there is a plan for everyone out there at our colleges. Just so you know, the colleges are, in my opinion, one of the safer places to be. The cleaning measures are very enhanced. We have extra folks out there cleaning and sanitizing, making sure there are masks everywhere. Everything is wiped down. We also have reduced staff, which means that only if it's important that you're on campus that you be there. There's still plenty of services for students, but we wanted to make sure that the amount of people are limited on campus as well. Your classrooms are also socially distanced, of course. So things look a little different, but it's not enough to slow you down from your plans. So here we are. I want to show this picture for 2 reasons. I love the photo of Spokane skyline with a little bit of snow. You do get to experience 4 seasons if you join us. But I also want you to know that our vision, we live this vision every day. We want to make the world a better place, one student at a time, which means you. And we really value your experience here. Okay, I'm going to take you on a virtual trip. So let's go all the way over to the west coast of the USA. North, as I mentioned, we're in the northwest, so tucked up right by Canada. And then you'll see on the slide, we're above California. And Spokane City is on the eastern coast of Washington State. Remember, this is not Washington, D.C. That would be on the other side where our new president will be. So different Washington. And you might be familiar with the city named Seattle. Seattle is our capital, which is on the west coast over by the ocean, very close to Spokane. Spokane is the 2nd largest city in Washington State. Here's some things you might be aware of that are all call Washington State their home. So you have corporations like Boeing, Amazon, Microsoft. This small coffee company called Starbucks is also here with us. So all that to say, we're a very energized place to live, a healthy economy. However, our cost of living is low compared to other places in the US. But this is important for you to remember, is that these are opportunities for your internships and your work experience after you study. So keep those great things in mind. Our region is also, as you can imagine, very mountainous. We have lots of trees. Washington State is known as the Evergreen State, so it's green a lot of the time. In our area, we have literally over 75 lakes and bodies of water. That's just in a small portion of the state. You can enjoy anything that interests you, from snow skiing, if you've never tried that, to hiking, boating, kayaking, just a lot of different things. We, in Washington State, on the West Coast in general, we're very easygoing. The society just has a very comfortable, casual persona. It's not necessarily a very high stress place to live. So if you are, if you like to be in a relaxed location with very friendly people, I think you would enjoy it here. And Spokane has a river that you can see, the falls here, has a very, very big river that cuts right through the middle of the city. So we have a park called Riverfront Park, which is huge, takes up a lot of the downtown near the river, and you'll find yourself spending a lot of time at the park. There's a lot of things to do there, outdoor markets, concerts, all kinds of great things. So let's talk about school. This is why we're here. We have 3 campus locations. There are 2 campuses in the city of Spokane, and one campus that is actually located on a university campus. I'll tell you more about that in a little while. So we do have options for you, as I mentioned. The only real difference between these campuses are programs of study. So we will help you determine which campus is a good fit for you based on what you're interested in, what you want to study. All campuses, of course, have the amenities, security, parking, very, very friendly environments, but they are located in the city center. All right, real quick, let's go over who we are. Unfortunately, this number was a little bit before COVID. We do have a reduced number of international students right now, but I think that's to be expected. We have a lot of our students travel back home, but who are still finishing their degree online. So that is a possibility. But I'd like to share a couple of things. Look at the GPA, 3.49 average GPA for our international students. Now, when I was in college, I did not get a 3.4, maybe more like a 3.1. But to me, this is an excellent GPA, and it shows what? It shows that students are happy and that they're succeeding. So we really, really value that information. We have students from over 36 countries, and 74% of our graduates this last spring transferred on to top 100 universities in the US. That's a big deal. We'll talk a little bit more about what is transfer. And then, of course, we do have our own airport, so you don't have to drive 3 hours to get to the airport. It's right here in our just outside the city as well. So here we are. Why Community Colleges of Spokane? I'm going to tell you about some benefits that will help you understand a little bit more about why students choose to start their study at a community college. All right, so one option for students is to go directly to university study. For university, as you know, is 4 years. Community college is the exact same thing as the first 2 years. So you would do your freshman, sophomore year at a community college. These classes that are offered are considered core classes, your basic requirements that any university or college will offer you. Even if you're doing engineering or you're doing graphic design, you still have to take a lot of the same classes like communications, history, math, whatever the case may be. So one of the reasons why students choose a community college is because our tuition is a lot more affordable than university study. So since you're getting those same classroom styles, the things you need for your degree, why not save a little money on your pathway? Another reason is that we have easy admissions. It's not a difficult process to be admitted to our college. We do have scholarships and, of course, unique programs offered, which I'll tell you more about. Here's a visual, though, just in case. I'm a visual learner, so this helps me too. So you all are at your high school diploma level, your GED. You're almost finished or you have just finished. This is perfect. Perfect time for you to jump into your first year of college in the USA. You'll study with us for 2 years. At the end of that study, you're going to earn an associate degree. So an associate degree in marketing, associate degree in biology, if you're interested in healthcare or being a doctor, etc. And then during the time you're studying with us, you're going to do your research and choose a university that you really want to attend, apply, hopefully be accepted, and you transfer on to that university to finish your year 3 and year 4. Then you're going to grab your bachelor degree. So here with this 2+2 transfer pathway, you have 2 degrees instead of 1. Good visual again. I mentioned the tuition at a community college is typically a lot lower than universities. These are all universities that are in Washington State. Some you might be familiar with, like University of Washington. We call it UW. and Washington State University, WSU. So again, our tuition is around 10,000 USD or less, and universities are sometimes double, triple, even quadruple that amount per year. Smart way to start. Here are some of the universities that we have a partnership with, which means for you that if you already have an idea of what you'd like to study and an idea of what university you might be interested in, we can offer you conditional admission to these universities, which means you get their admission letter. You would be guaranteed admission to this university as long as you meet their requirements, which usually is maintaining your GPA and taking the right amount of classes and graduating from our college. So a lot to talk about, but that just want to give you that information that this is a really nice way to help you and your family understand your study plan, your transfer pathway. So I mentioned earlier, our students transferred into top schools. Here's a short list of the top 10. A lot of universities in California, University of Maryland, Penn State. These might not mean a lot to you, and that's okay. There's so many university choices in the US. But what I want you to know is you can still go big places, even if you start at a community college. Community colleges have opportunity and benefits that many students don't really know about. 50% or so of international students in the US are studying at a community college. That's a lot. They already understand those benefits. Community colleges tend to offer smaller classes. So there's usually no more than 25 students to one instructor, sometimes fewer students. And this means for you, great connection with your instructor. Instructors in the US really love for students to ask questions. They love for them to engage and converse and participate in class. And you can actually create a friendship with your instructor. This is welcomed. I know in many regions of the world, talking to your professor is unheard of, but here it's welcomed. The colleges offer all kinds of clubs and things to do on campus, so you're really energized and engaged, and you have the opportunity to make a lot of friends. So what do you want to study? That's a big question. And again, it's okay if you don't know. You're young. It's a very big decision, which is another reason why community colleges are a great choice, because remember, you're taking a lot of different classes as your base. So this gives you time to figure out what you like, figure out what you're good at. You meet students, you meet new professors, you network, and you discover. If you do know what you want to study, we have over 100 programs. So I'm sure we have something that fits your interests. So this is Iyasu. He is already on his way to medical school. He started with us at the Community College of Spokane. He's from Ethiopia, I believe. And he wanted to be a doctor. And that's a tough journey. But he did it. He struggled and pursued and persevered. So if you're interested in the healthcare field, our colleges have lots of different programs besides just being a nurse. If you're not interested in a lot of schooling, these degrees are 2-year technical degrees, which means that you are job ready after your 2 years of study in one of these fields, as you can see. Dental assistant, radiology tech, lots of different things that offer you the chance to be in the workforce quicker than a 4 or 5 year study plan. So here's the good stuff, what we all want to know. As I mentioned earlier, our tuition is less than 10,000 USD. So that's just tuition and fees. This also includes your health insurance, which is also a really important thing in the US. We don't require SAT or ACT, but if you have them, we will look at them, definitely. We do not require an essay. but if you write one, I will read it. Would be happy to. And for 1 year, typically when you visit the embassy to obtain your student visa, they do want to see that you have enough money to live and study in the US for 1 year. And our total is approximately 18,000 USD, which includes everything, spending money, transportation, food, books, all of that. And again, 10,000 is the tuition. So it's not very expensive if you've done your research for studying in the US. We are considered quite affordable. I think that is it. Really quick. I hope I didn't talk too fast, and I have so much more to share with you, but that gives you a really good start. And I thank you for your attention.
Trina, thank you so much. That was really very, very insightful. And we've got a whole bunch of questions that are streaming through on YouTube, and we'll deal with them after the other presenters have had their chance. So next up is Ashley. Ashley.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Let me start the presentation. Can you guys see that okay? Great. Thank you for having me, everyone. I'm with Hillsborough Community College, and we're located in Tampa, Florida. That's a pretty picture of downtown Tampa on a beautifully sunshiny day. Again, my name's Ashley Tankersley. I have been with Hillsborough Community College for about 8 years now. I'm really excited to be presenting to you guys today. I wish I was presenting in person, of course, but this is second best. And for the rest of the presentation, you'll hear me refer to Hillsborough Community College as HCC. All right, I want to start out today actually by showing you a really short video of a couple of our international students. They're mainly from Africa, so you can hear what they have to say.
International-wise, it's a great place to be. The process can be tedious, but they make it much more easier. We are HCC.
The staff here are very welcoming and they make you feel at home. The teachers are very nice. You meet new people and you experience a lot of new things and cultures.
Ifeti HCC.
Nous sommes HCC.
Ons is HCC.
私たちは HCC.
I'm at HCC chair.
Nosta HCC.
We are HCC.
Okay, we actually have a whole series of We Are HCC videos on our YouTube channel if you guys want to check that out too. Okay, so the city of Tampa, we have about 4 million people in the entire Tampa Bay region, and a little bit over 300,000 in the city of Tampa itself. Tampa is actually ranked the second best large U.S. city for undergraduate students because, you know, as we all know, a really strong curriculum and supportive school environment is super important to a student's academic success. But so is location. A little bit about HCC. We were founded in 1968. We are a rather large community college. We have 5 different campuses in the Tampa Bay area and a total enrollment of about 47,000 students. We have 350 F1 international students, and they come from over 80 different countries. So we have a really well-rounded international student body. We also offer on-campus housing, which is something most community colleges really don't offer, and I'll show you pictures of that later in the presentation. And one more thing to keep in mind is Tampa is one of the top 10 safest metro areas in the US. Okay, so just to reiterate a little bit about what Trina wonderfully said in her presentation, what exactly is a community college? Now all of you should know. It's basically the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree. So in the US, it takes approximately 4 years to get your bachelor's, and a community college is the first 2. So students will come study with us for 2 years, and then we help them transfer wherever they want to go to finish year 3 and 4 of their bachelor's degree. And as Trina said, a couple of these reasons already up on the screen you see here. Number one is lower tuition costs. At a community college, you know, students save a ton of money and they're getting the same exact education for those first 2 years as you would at a 4-year institution. So using HCC as an example, you're paying less than $10,000 for tuition each academic year, and an academic year is for 2 semesters. And if we look at the University of Florida, if you decided to go to UF, the University of Florida, a student going to HCC for those first 2 years would actually save close to $35,000 on tuition costs alone. It's ridiculous. So why wouldn't you, right? Also, the SAT exam is not required for admission, so you don't have to take any college entrance exams. Smaller classroom sizes, which Trina also spoke to, that goes for all community colleges. You get a lot of one-on-one time with the professors that way. 2+2 transfer programs, in my opinion, are the most important, but I'll talk to you about that on the next slide. And what's called OPT, optional practical training. It's basically a 1-year work authorization in the US. So basically, you're permitted to work for 1 year on your F1 student visa after you complete an academic program, as long as that job is related to your program area of study. So if your plan is to go to a community college first and then attend a university after, you can actually do that 2 times. You can work and get paid for it twice. And if you have any more questions about that later, I'd be more than happy to help. Okay, so the university transfer plan. HCC shares articulation agreements with all of Florida's 12 public universities, as well as, you know, a handful of universities across the country too, which basically means that when a student finishes their 2 years of study with us, they automatically get admitted and accepted into any of those institutions. And even if we don't share an agreement with a particular university that you might want to transfer to, we still help with that process. Another great statistic to keep in mind, 85% of HCC students who end up transferring to a 4-year institution after their studies with us, they transfer to US public universities in the top 50. So basically, once a student begins their studies at HCC, they are assigned their own academic advisor, and she's going to help them map out their education plan, not only for the first semester, but for the full 2 years of their program. And then their advisor begins a dialogue with them with where they might want to transfer. So that way we can make sure that you're in the right classes that are going to transfer flawlessly into your bachelor's degree program. Okay, one quick thing related to COVID-19, we are open as well. We are doing face-to-face classes, taking the precautionary measures that the CDC recommends. So face masks, 6 feet apart, even smaller classroom sizes now than our typical classroom size. We have a really student-focused education system, so I'll go into that right now. We have over 160 different programs at HCC. The first line that you see there, those are our Associates of Arts degree programs, and these are the ones that are going to transfer into university. So these are the programs that students are going to select if their ultimate goal is to get their bachelor's degree. Next, you see the Associate of Science degree programs, and these are more specialized degrees. These are just 2-year programs. So once you're done with your AS, your Associate of Science degree, you're going to just complete it and get a certificate. And some of those examples are nursing, computer programming, entrepreneurship, more specialized programs like that. Lastly, we do offer college credit certificate programs. And these programs are just 1 to 2 semester long programs. So students can walk away with a certificate without having the time commitment of a full degree. And we offer those in 4 different programs. We have entrepreneurship and innovation, business management, event planning, and food and beverage management. So those are your options. Okay, we also have an honors program within HCC, and actually a ton of our international students actually take advantage of our HCC Honors Program. And this is for academically motivated students. There are a few things that our honors students can take advantage of. Number one, scholarship opportunities during their time at HCC. They can also register for classes before other students, so they get top pick of their classes. Those classroom sizes are capped off at 15 students or less, so even smaller classroom sizes than our normal size. They serve as club officers for SGA, the Student Government Association. And the director of the honors program, she'll work with her students to negotiate scholarships and transfer opportunities on their behalf when they're done with their studies at HCC. To me, the most important thing is the bottom line there. Consistently, 85 to 90% of our honors international students, when they graduate and transfer, they go on full or partial scholarships. So basically, the director of the honors program is making sure that her students are doing good both inside and outside of the classroom. They are working on public speaking skills, volunteering in the community, as I said, participating in clubs and organizations on campus, and just making them a well-rounded, more attractive candidate when they go to transfer to their four-year institution. And they transfer to the elite universities that you see listed on this slide. If you see Columbia on there, there's actually a representative from Columbia University who comes to our campus twice a year just to speak to our honors students about transfer and scholarship opportunities. And there are a number of different ways that you can get into the honors program. The most common way is if after the first semester you're at HCC, you receive a 3.6 grade point average or higher, you can apply right after that first semester. So you don't necessarily have to do great in high school right now or, back before. You don't have to take the SAT. You can essentially start with a clean slate, get good grades your first semester at HCC, A's and B's, apply to honors, and then you can transfer to schools like Columbia University on a scholarship. Okay, to me, this is the most beautiful thing. These are our student housing apartments on our main campus. My student housing did not look like this when I went to college. It's very nice. I tell my students, this is luxurious. Each student gets their own private bedroom and private bathroom, and they share the kitchen and living room area. We have 3 different floor plans, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 4 bedroom floor plans. I always recommend my students get one of the 4 bedrooms because number one, it's cheaper. It's $655 a month per person. And number 2, it kind of forces you to meet more people that way. There is a pool, a beach volleyball court. It's really nice. Okay, so what do you have to do to apply? You have to fill out an online international student application. If you're actually listening to this presentation today and you end up applying, you do not have to pay the $50 application fee. So we're waiving that. You can apply for free. You just have to finish your GED or high school equivalency. You do not need to submit evidence of English language proficiency if you're from specific countries like South Africa and Namibia. The English proficiency requirement is actually waived upon receipt of your passport's bio page. Otherwise, you would have to take an English language proficiency exam, such as the Duolingo. We usually recommend that. It's quick and easy, and you only need a 90 or higher. Submit the copy of the passport's bio page and proof of financial support. Really easy. These are application deadlines, and we're flexible with those as well. And that's all I have with my nice short presentation. I'm looking forward to answering questions from you guys later on today. Thank you.
Ashley, thank you so much. That was great. Thank you. So next up we have Arlene. So Arlene, I'm going to share the presentation on your behalf, and you'll be speaking. So if you'll just bear with me for a moment.
Thank you.
All right.
Hello, everyone. We can see the presentation now. Thank you. So I'm Arlene Spencer, and I'm the director of the International Student Office here at Fulton Montgomery Community College, and we're in New York State. So you're traveling around the US right now, and you've come up to central New York State. And this is a photo of our campus, the front view of our campus that was taken recently. It's, I think, in October, when we have, just to show you that we also have 4 seasons. And in many ways, upstate New York and Washington State are similar in our weather conditions. And I happen to love the 4 seasons. So I love this photo. Also on this page, you'll see a link to our FM videos on our YouTube channel. And so I encourage you to, after the presentation, go and take a look at all of our YouTube channels. But you'll find testimonials from students and a lot of other information. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Now, my colleagues have given you an excellent overview of what a community college is, but just to quickly review, we are 2-year institutions that are equivalent to the first 2 years of the bachelor degree. We offer what's called an associate degree, or we have 1-year certificate programs, and they're both in transfer track programs as well as in applied programs if you want to go directly to employment after the first 2 years. We are what's called open enrollment institutions. So you just have to show that you have the equivalent to a high school diploma and you'll be admitted. Takes away the mystery of admission. And of course, we're affordable. Let's go to the next slide. And that photo is on my campus. Just a few facts that community colleges are very popular with students. 6.9 million students study at US community colleges. About 50% of all US students actually start their education at a community college. And there are more than 86,000 international students studying at community colleges. So a little bit about FM. We are a comprehensive community college. We're part of SUNY, the State University of New York. SUNY is actually the largest comprehensive public university system in the US. And we're rated as one of the top community colleges, not only academically, but also for our percentage of international students. We are a smaller campus. My colleagues who spoke earlier are a little bit larger. They're in larger areas. We are near Albany, New York, which is the capital city of New York State, but it's a much more quieter area. But we're very close. In 2.5, 3 hours, you can be in Manhattan. And we offer about 40 different academic programs, and more to come on some of our other screens. But again, that mix of transfer track programs or programs you can use for employment. And of course, we do accept the GED as well as a high school diploma. And some of our health programs do have additional coursework required for admission. And we can talk about that if you have the questions. Okay, so this clock tower is one of our famous icons here on campus. And so I just use this slide a lot. I want to emphasize that Fulton Montgomery, when we had to go to remote learning, that actually was easy for us because we've had a history of over 20 years of having online degree programs. And in fact, we're rated as one of the best community colleges for our online degree programs. So our international students, whether they went home in March, if they were here last year, or some of our new students started online this semester. And of course, we have students who are living here still. They decided to stay in the community. And so like my colleagues, we have on-campus courses, we have hybrid courses, and we have online courses. Okay, next slide. And this is just a list, which is hard to read probably, but you can go to our website for all the details. And again, just a little map of New York State. And we are located in the central part of the state, as I mentioned, near Albany, New York, which is the capital city. And we're conveniently located between New York City, Boston, Montreal, and Toronto. So students have an opportunity to easily visit 4 major world cities, and Washington, D.C. is just an additional couple of hours to go down and visit. So we take a lot of trips with our international students. We do a lot of traveling and we see a lot of different places. But just to get an idea of what SUNY is, the State University of New York, you can see we have colleges all over the state, and just at all different types of levels, from community colleges like FM to specialized institutions such as the Fashion Institute of Technology, which a lot of our students who are interested in fashion transfer to. We have comprehensive 4-year liberal arts colleges, and of course the university centers such as the University of Buffalo, Albany, Stony Brook, and Binghamton. Okay. So again, here's just a cost of, we have tuition and fees, estimated living expenses. We do have on-campus housing as well. And we give every student a scholarship. So the total cost is about $18,000 a year. In addition to the scholarship that we guarantee to every student, we also have You Are Welcome Here scholarships, which is something that a lot of institutions in the United States do offer, which even brings the costs down lower than that. And of course, we have academic scholarships and that we can award students after their first semester. And like my colleagues, we have a lot of agreements with our 4-year partner schools. The University at Albany is the closest. It's also my alma mater. I was a student at FM and I transferred to the University of Albany. And that's one of the more popular destinations for our students just because of location. But we do have other guaranteed transfer programs. And I think some of the next few slides will show a few other examples. So exactly, this one is all of the SUNY transfer programs with our university centers. Cornell actually has a part of the institution, which is SUNY, is part of the public university system in New York. We have Buffalo, Binghamton, Stony Brook, and we also have the ESF, the School of Environmental Science and Forestry, as well as the University at Albany. And then, of course, we can go outside of New York State. And so these are some of our partners. We have a guaranteed admission program with Northeastern University in Boston, which we're very pleased about. So, and some of these other institutions that are listed. So again, as was mentioned from my colleagues, it's very easy. If you have one of these institutions as your final destination, you let us know that. And then we can get you letters of acceptance based upon your admission to FM, and then that is your plan to go on there. So you can get a letter of conditional admission. Okay, and finally, while our virtual open house was held in November, I do want you to go to our website, both on our website and on our YouTube channel. And it's a great program to watch because you're going to see a lot of our faculty. It's not too long, but they give short descriptions of each of the academic programs, show you around their classrooms, and it's a nice way for you to see what our campus is all about. Okay. So just in summary, I want to encourage you to take a look at SUNY Fulton Montgomery Community College, as well as the other institutions that were mentioned today.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, everybody. It was really very helpful to hear from all of you. Just before we start with the questions, I just want to clarify for a lot of our listeners that may not understand the US system, where there's associate degrees and bachelor degrees. So in South Africa, our bachelor degrees are actually 3 years, and then a fourth year is available. If you do your fourth year, you get what's called an honors degree, and thereafter you can move on to a master's degree. Whereas in the US, you get your 4-year bachelor's degree and you move straight on to master's, and that's where the difference of the 3 years and the 4 years come in. We don't have anything like the associate degree. We don't have 2-year degrees at all. So it's a unique feature in the US, which is, I believe, is a great feature, because it allows you to get your base credits and a degree after 2 years. And thereafter, you can decide what you want to specialize in, and then go and get a full 4-year bachelor's degree. Now, I know we've spoken about all these universities and the beautiful pictures and the scenic photos and everything like that, but obviously, especially for this coming year, a lot of universities and a lot of students don't want to travel, or are just concerned about traveling. So I just want you in the back of your minds to be aware of that, and obviously talk about your online offerings as well when we get to questions. I'm going to share my screen again. This time, I want to just show actually just one slide. It's really the link to that everybody can go to. As you can see there, it's learnalot.com/product-category/universities, and it will have a list of all the different universities, including the ones that have presented here this afternoon. While I leave this screen up just for a little bit so you can make a note of it, I'm going to jump straight into some questions. Some of them have already been answered, but I just want to mention all of them just so that everyone's aware of them. So the first one is, does this only apply to US citizens? And absolutely not. The whole point of this webinar is specifically for international students, focused on South African and Namibian students. And that's why the online option is a really great option. This webinar, will it be recorded? And yes, the answer is yes, it is being recorded. And we will distribute to everybody that registered for this webinar. We will be distributing the recorded link so you can go back and get all this amazing information at your own time. And so here's one of the questions, and I guess it actually applies to all of you, or to all 3 panelists. The question is it possible to study online from South Africa? So it doesn't really matter which of you take that question. Please, somebody. Yes, Arlene.
Well, as I mentioned, it is possible, and we had actually 3/4 of all of our new freshmen start online from their home countries this semester. So, and they've been doing fine. They've taken a combination of what we would call traditional web courses, which are asynchronous, so that they didn't have to worry about that, or they did synchronous coursework, but we made sure that the classes would be at good times for them in their home countries. So they, if they were taking a course that was running sort of live online 3 days a week, the times would be there, that's something that would work with the individual student's schedule. So we are very personalized here at FM, because we take a look at each student and what their needs are. And so we had that opportunity for students, which we will continue in the spring. And then, as I mentioned, we are approved for several online degree programs, even for the fall and into the future, because we've had experience doing that. So our faculty are here. They love working with international students. And even in a remote environment, our students are succeeding and doing well.
Excellent. Thank you. Trina, can you just confirm, do you also offer online?
Hi, thank you. Yes, we do. However, we're a little bit different in terms of the completion. At this point, we're working on the ability to offer a degree completely and fully online from your home country. Right now, what you can do is do literally almost all of the degree from home, but you would be required to travel to the US at least to finish it. This has a lot to do with, security, taxes, things like that. So unfortunately, we aren't as ready for you as Arlene's college, but we do have online opportunities for sure, at least to begin online. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Ashley?
We are a little bit different. I will say we made some exceptions for the fall, this semester, and then for next semester in the spring. We did allow our pre-F1 students, maybe students who have already applied to our institution and did get accepted but cannot come into the country for one reason or another. We did allow them to start our program, their programs online. But going forward, after the spring, all of our F1 international students are required to be in the classroom for 9 out of the 12 required credit hours in order to maintain that lawful F1 status.
Okay. Now we've received this question many times, and I'm just going to ask it once. Just a bit of background. The dollar is quite strong relative to the South African rand. Just to put it into perspective, currently it's between 15 and 16 rand that gives you $1. In South Africa, for 15 or 16 rand, you can buy a cup of coffee, which is $1. I don't know if you can buy a cup of coffee in America for $1, or at least not a Starbucks coffee. And so a major part of this has been, we've received quite a lot of questions on, do you offer a scholarship and what are your scholarship options? Can we go through from each of you again? Trina, can you maybe start with your scholarship options?
Sure. We do offer scholarships. I'll make it very short here, but again, there's a lot of different options for you. Basically, our college does not offer pre-admission scholarships. So you would be eligible once you enroll, once you get a student ID and lock into your classes, then you become eligible for over 100 scholarships that we offer. So let's pretend you study here for 2 years, right? Each year you have the opportunity to apply for our body of scholarships. And the awards range between 500 and 3,000. And because we have so many different types, it's hard to tell you how much you're going to get or the criteria, because they all have different things they look for. So we have scholarships based on merit, need, program-based, etc. Also during the year, if our office hears of different opportunities, we share it with students, so you're very well connected. One thing I also want to mention too that applies, I'm sure, to all of us, and we've talked about that in our slide, to remind you, as a transfer student, as an international transfer student, you will be seen from universities as prepared. They like transfer students. Universities will give you scholarships as an international transfer student. So while you're getting scholarships at our community college level, you also can look forward to scholarship opportunities when you plan your transfer pathway. So there's, throughout your life cycle of study here, there's many, many opportunities for you.
Thank you. Ashley?
Yes, very, very similar to what Trina said. We do offer scholarships at HCC, but you do already have to be enrolled in the college to apply for any of them. The majority of them are merit-based, and it ranges in a number from a very little amount of money all the way over to all tuition costs paid for during your time at HCC. But again, you already have to be enrolled, and I believe you have to be one semester in at least, and then you can begin applying for scholarships.
Okay, thank you very much. And Arlene?
Yes. So as I mentioned, we have a guaranteed $5,000 scholarship that we give to every student that's admitted. But like my colleagues, you have to be admitted and have told us that you're enrolling and register for classes. Then it automatically shows on your bill that that scholarship has been awarded and applied, bringing your total costs down. In addition, we have the You Are Welcome Here scholarships. And so if you're not familiar with that program, you can either ask at the Education USA offices or on the You Are Welcome Here website or on our website. And so we are able to give that to at least 2 students a year, which cuts the tuition in half. So those are our freshman scholarships that we give. And then, as my colleagues mentioned, there are merit scholarships and other scholarships of need that students can apply for after their first semester.
Thank you very much.
And I just want to say that our South African students have really participated in those scholarship programs. So it's definitely doable.
Yeah, I'm sure they have participated. I mean, $5,000 is a lot of money. So everyone, I have no doubt, enjoys that. Just a quick one. I know it's got nothing to do with the USA, but just we've seen that the question is here. We're just going to answer it quickly. So Lindsay, just one question for you as the representative from GED South Africa and Namibia. Can I study at Namibian universities? And if so, do you know offhand which ones?
So Namibian universities are definitely gaining in knowledge about the GED. We have some students being accepted at different colleges and universities in Namibia. It's always best to contact the specific university or college that you do want to study at. We do know that the Namibian Qualifications Authority has evaluated the GED and equated it to NQF level 4, which the universities do like, but you'd need to contact the university because each university or college in Namibia, they have their own acceptance criteria and it's at the discretion of themselves.
Thank you. Jan, I don't know if you're there still, we haven't seen you, but if you are, there you are. A question for you. Besides the USA, are there other universities in other countries that are also available to apply at?
Okay, so right now we are working with colleges specifically in the USA. So we don't have programs outside the USA currently, but we are planning on expanding to other colleges in Canada and the UK by next year.
Okay, good. So yes, watch the space. You will be able to apply elsewhere. I guess any one of you can take the next question, and I should have actually brought it up right at the beginning. In South Africa, we don't even know what this means or what it stands for or anything like that. And every one of you spoke about it. So one of you, if you don't mind, what is a GPA?
I'll jump in, but I might not be as professional about it. So colleagues, please help me out. GPA, that makes me smile. Sorry for overlooking that. The GPA is our grading system. It's on a 4.0 scale. So for example, you might have heard your grades could be an A, a B, a C, or a D. Those are also letter calibrations, which equal a 4.0 scale. So an A would be 4.0. A B or higher is typically 3.0 or higher, and so on. So we consider, and I don't even know what it stands for. This is where my friends will come in to help me. We look at the GPA in terms of how well you've succeeded through your high school, your total grade as a letter or as that 4.0 number. Help me out, friends.
You did great. You did great. My husband teaches law at HCC, and I turned to him. I'm like, how would you explain GPA to international students? And I think you did it perfectly. Yes.
I concur.
Excellent. So here's the next question. This is from Devin. He says he's from South Africa And he wants to know, when studying an online degree from an accredited US university, I assume afterwards, can you seek employment in the US?
I'm not sure. I know that if he came and did his last semester in person, then he would, well, actually there's a 9-month rule by the United States government for F1 students to have what our colleagues have referred to as OPT, optional practical training. So to have that 1 year of optional practical training, you do have to be in study for 9 months. You know, these COVID times are kind of interesting on the regulations, but in a typical thing would be a student would be at minimum in the United States on campus studying full-time for 9 months to be eligible for the OPT. There's something called CPT, which is part of your internship, paid internship opportunities, which may be possible at some institutions. But I would say that at minimum, a student, even now, would still have to have some presence in the United States to be eligible. Would you agree, colleagues?
So it sounds as though you've got to do a bit more research and know exactly what you need to do before you make any plans. The next question was from Nikki. Are there any courses online? Yes, we have answered that. Definitely, there are online courses. Here's one. I've recently completed my GED and am considering a bachelor's in business administration at an online US university. Is it possible to pursue a bachelor's with a GED instead of going for CC? I don't know what's, for a community college. So basically, with just a GED, can you get into a 4-year university?
I think we could probably all jump in on this one, and I would say the same thing as what Lindsay had mentioned for the question in Namibia. Every university has their own admission criteria for the most part. So you would have to, contact that university, find out what they require, find out what they can waive. We are all here today because we're an option to get you to that university where we do not, we do accept the GED and don't have those extra more difficult requirements. So that's a great question, but you would have to continue your research and contact each university.
But I would say, I mean, just besides that, the reality is that whether you go to university directly or if you start off at a community college and then move to university, you're spending the same 4 years getting your degree. And as each of you said, you're also saving a lot of money in your first 2 years. You're able to transfer all your credits across and continue there. So it makes perfect sense to actually begin your higher education career at a community college and then move on to a university thereafter. So I don't remember who it was, but somebody mentioned that if you're applying from either South Africa or from Namibia, there's no need for an English proficiency test. Does the same apply to Kenya? Do you know that at all?
Let me quickly, I have my list pulled up here. I believe so. Yep, that applies to Kenya as well. Yes, this is Ashley at HCC. I can confirm that.
Excellent, excellent. So everything we've basically spoken about regarding South Africa and Namibia would also apply to Kenya.
That's correct, yes.
Good, good. So that answers a whole bunch of other questions. So there's a comment that says this seems far out of reach financially. Yes, it's obviously converting to dollars is expensive. Some people are able to do it, some people aren't. You can start off your career, and then if you prove yourself and you're doing well, you can apply for additional scholarships. And so we're here to show other options other than local South African and Namibian universities. So yes, it is expensive for a lot of people, but some people do want to consider it. Here's a great question. Your online offering versus your face-to-face offering. Is the online offering cheaper? Leaving out the accommodation and everything else that you're saving on. It looks as though there's no's going everywhere. So it looks as though essentially it's the tuition portion is the same, but you're saving on accommodation and other living expenses. Jan, a question for you. Do you know, what about the Netherlands? Is that on the radar?
I am not aware of the process for applying to college in the Netherlands. So I can't really speak much regarding to that.
Okay. And then I see there's one last question. I think it's the last question. And that is, will we focus on universities in Europe? Well, we'll definitely investigate it. We'll chat to Yom about it and see if we can bring you another webinar focused on European universities. We're just over the 1 hour mark and we've run out of questions. And so I'd just like to thank everybody for making the time, especially at 6 o'clock in the morning, or now 7 o'clock in the morning, for attending and providing unbelievable feedback and information to our GED students. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Keep safe, and hopefully we'll have a follow-up webinar soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much.